I can't take the suit. You will need it too. I don't feel right. Stay with me. We were all so entertained. We didn't see what was getting ready in the shadow. Leave them alone! Looks like scientific documents, but I can't decipher what's written. This nightmare again. Pierre's tape collection. Insomnia will be a nice excuse to put it in order. Might even find some of the music he made for me. I could use the comforting. Damn. When dust settles on your sport trophies, it doesn't mean you are getting younger. Where are you going, Elise? I can't leave without my tape player. You come with me, my friend. It would get lonely without you. My life turned into an item. Round and round we go, stuck at the same track. It's so dusty here. I could use a vacuum to clean the vacuum. It's good to keep some rituals. Dear toothpaste, you are breathtaking. I could use a good shower. When this feeling of being observed will stop. Pierre's special mess room. I can't believe one can own so many trinkets. I remember he got stuck once when the electricity shut down in the city. Forgot I found this old journal around town yesterday. Apparently they installed a secondary generator in the old lighthouse years ago. The extra current could help me out in my search for the other inhabitants. Let's check it out today. I can't believe we moved with all these books. The worst part is, we most likely have doubles. I know I can always find the things I leave in here. After each storm, all you have to do is stoop to collect wood. Free heating. friend. It would be easy to get lost without it. I forgot it was here. Well, now I can clean the first one. Completely locked. I left my gun in the shanty yesterday. Time to get it back. Without you, I wouldn't stand a second out there. Last time was very close. I need to keep up with my training. The former owner had to do a lot of tinkering to screw up such a mess. Can't open without more stable electricity. Nothing interesting in this old garage anyway. Good to go. And the last one. Now, let's warm up for some dodging. Okay, I'm ready. Now! Better be faster. Now, rappel training. With all these storms, the previous tenant didn't know what to do with all the wood coming out of fallen trees. Next time, you will think twice about getting in my safe space. I'm glad this thing recharges during the night. Training's over. Getting out there seems a little bit less scary now.
Mange un grand bol de Special Crabs avant et après être lavé les dents.
This watch creeps me out. I love the atmosphere of the streets of the village with this staging. Too bad this is now linked to where my nightmare started. I loved that statue. Well, before the cult vandalized it. They love leaving these tape boxes for their propaganda. Listen to us. Join the devoted. Maybe I should listen to it.
Dear people of Pleasantville, this message is for you. I know our local authorities have been breaking their backs, picturing us as fools. Do not listen to this nonsense. Our actions are dedicated to all of you. Once the day comes, those who denied will finally see the truth with their eyes.
1, 2. 1, 2. That works? Okay. Damn machine. And I'm finally starting to understand what's going on here with the electricity. A priori, everything revolves around the lighthouse. I consulted many old newspapers, and the Village Gazette told me that St. Exel was very poorly served by electricity and regularly suffered severe power cuts. I knew that it was a very isolated village, which is what makes it so charming, but I hadn't thought of that. Half of the articles in the Gazette are devoted to the inhabitants who, tired of the cuts, ended up installing small wind turbines for their homes. The other half is about the lighthouse, and that's where it gets interesting. I read that the mayor of the village had installed underwater turbines connected to the building, which are capable of producing electricity thanks to the movement of the sea. This has enabled the village to gain autonomy and to overcome the failures of the general electrical network. Anyway, I think it would be worth going to take a look at the lighthouse. Because if the turbine system is damaged, it could explain why some electrical equipment is out of order while others are still working. I'll tell you what I found. Fourth day that I'm stuck. I'm not just out here. They terrify me. I don't know what to do. They hunt me like an animal. They have taken on a human form, but there is nothing human about them. They come out of nowhere without you expecting it and materialize in a kind of elusive black vapor. I can't do anything against them. I don't know how to fight them. I found a weapon, but I'm struggling to use it, and I'm always out of bullets. There's even more of them at night. They swarm like cockroaches. I have to shut myself up at home as soon as night falls. They prevent me from leaving this cursed village, Pierre. As soon as I try to leave St. Exel, they arrive by the thousands and they get me. If they catch me, I wake up in my bed and it's been hours, maybe even a whole day. I'm their prisoner. I can still smell the perfume of stamps and papers, but no one will come to pick up the mail tonight. Ahead, Boisseau's Park and the beach. Left, St. Exel's Church. The soldiers were perfectly organized and cut off all access. We had almost zero chance of escaping this mass kidnapping. Like sheep in the dark. Nah, nothing of interest in these cars. I would like to tell you about the bracelet you gave me right after we arrived here. They really wanted to prevent us from following them. They've put it beyond repair during their escape. You found that gem on the beach and crafted it into this beautiful piece of jewelry. You told me that you felt that this pebble had something special, that it radiated. Well, you were right, you know. I'd better be home before the night. Text me from the monsters I told you about. If I smack it against the ground, it produces a shock wave that violently repels ghosts. La Vieille Chaloupe, restaurant and brewery. Fresh fish straight from the port. I sure hope the products are fresher than this poster. Sometimes, he can even dissolve them when they attack me. He's so strong that I decided to name him Rocky, since it's a rock. But Rocky is also a sensitive guy, you know? He doesn't like explosive noises. Thomas Levins. Fixing pipes is all right. Now try with my life. When things get back to normal, you'll have plenty to do, my friend. If I shoot a gun in his ear, he can even start a thunderstorm. At that moment, I feel transported to another reality, to another time. And once calm returns, I have the impression that it only lasted a few seconds, whereas about 15 minutes had actually passed. Better tease sparingly. Completely locked. This numpad is not working. Like most things in the city, it is lacking juice. Sometimes I feel like he's almost alive. He gets lazy at the end of the day, especially if I make him work a lot. But, hey, nothing a good night's sleep can't fix. Anyway, all that to say that he reminds me a bit of you. It's probably silly, but I feel like you're watching over me through him. And that helps me hold on. You again. Learn your lesson. I can't take this dream anymore. I wake up in this dusty tunnel-shaped cave. It is essentially made up of some kind of light-absorbing rocks. like the ones the insides of a planet would create. I go through this hallway and come across the ghosts that haunt me. But this time they don't try to catch me. There are also military and scientific equipment. I can't tell if they are studying or planning to attack something. A sheet of heavy smoke waits for me at the end, and it's too thick to see behind, and I'm attracted like a moth is to light. The closer I get to the exit, the more I hear ringing, until I realize it's my alarm, and I wake up like nothing happened, and at the same exact hour as usual, 8 a.m. If somebody finds this journal, gone nuts apparently, do what you want with that information, or shove it somewhere warm. This door can be unlocked from the other side. This door has no handle. Apparently someone was moving when everything stopped. At the edge of this cliff stands the famous flower house of St. Exel. It was given by its owner to the village, which still contributes to maintaining the quality of its gardens. Still inhabited, the building is regularly open for heritage events. Completely locked. The lighthouse! I'm getting closer. In a different scenario, I would have stayed here for hours with a book. You have to admit, the view is quite nice. Left, the White Manor and the lighthouse. Right, St. Exel. Attention, following the latest storms, the coastal path is damaged. Certain trees marked with an orange cross present a risk of falling on hikers and must be felled. These can fall due to the slightest gust of wind. The village really isn't investing in its infrastructure, and storms make it even more problematic. This tree was marked to be felled. It could make a nice bridge. It's hurt, but that won't be enough. A storm could help. It doesn't seem to have awakened them. Psilocybe phosphorus, recognizable by its phosphorescent dress. It made its appearance a short time ago in the region of St. Exel. With its lightning growth capacity, it is able to grow in a single day. Ripe, they can be enjoyed by some coastal birds. Interesting. Maybe I should gather some of these. Hope the police will not catch me with these shrooms. This door can be unlocked from the other side. Le Scale, Sailor's Aperitif. Available in all grocery stores. I hate this drink. Ugh, too bad I don't have change for these tourist traps. This tree couldn't resist the force of the last storm. This buoy clearly defines what St. Exel is. A small, isolated fishing village where time seems slowed down, or even frozen. A usually calm place where the haunting sound of the waves punctuates your day. This door requires electricity. Someone stole the circuit breaker. Facing the lighthouse named La Crenne. The lighthouse was built in 1835, a veritable directional beacon for the sailors of the coast of St. Exel. It was nonetheless decommissioned in 1983. It is only in 1988 that La Crenne was put in service again, welcoming a hydraulic generator that supplies the village. It's like someone just came for this incredible spectacle and forgot his bicycle. But these things were not here before the attack. access to the top of the lighthouse is condemned. Apparently, multiple people were working here. Why did you have to be so grim? Because of recent events, a lot of circuit breakers were stolen from the electrical gates. While we wait to receive more, we keep the last one inside the equipment locker. In the meantime, don't hesitate to use the same one on different gates. A bit unexpected for a lighthouse. These cables go all the way to the ceiling. This is a complete mess. It's like they pushed everything to the side to make room for something else. So, this is where the electricity of St. Exo is largely generated. The turbine shouldn't be too far. It automatically locked the doors behind me. This panel seems to monitor the pressure within the turbines. Only the first one appears to be working correctly. Really need to get better at dodging these attacks. Local police apparently suspect the cult has started kidnapping people. It is indeed curious so many people would disappear without leaving a note. Their last ritual site is located near the lighthouse, at the Point de Mal. Might be worth checking out. Watchtower schedule and system monitoring. The entire workforce is listed on the board. Something is written here, too. Could anyone pick up Frank's shifts for the upcoming weeks? Nicholas system? That's probably where the town's additional current is monitored. It's a bit much for just a common lighthouse. I can probably restart the system from here, once the pressure is fixed. So, they had to make space for these machines? They do not seem to belong in a lighthouse. Good thing nobody can find them here. It's completely dark in here. Someone left a note for his coworkers. Frank is so fed up that we keep forgetting his birthday that he has set the day and the month as the padlock code. Can someone change that back to the inauguration date? So, what is your code, Frank? Looks like a lot of security for simple maintenance equipment. All right. Let's put on some music. Alright, so now I need to fix these colored cables in the right order. depths of the sea, his anger spreads through our families. This sounds terrifying. Wondering what's that thing they mention all the time. Despite the mess the protesters left behind, you're still offering comfort, aren't you? Damien, the 28th of June, 1971. This one looks like it came back from a long trip. This is one of the places of contemplation in St. Exel. It was vandalized just before everything went down. Franck, the 19th of March, 1967. You can't stop, can you? documents on this desk look much more confidential than the previous ones. This place appears to be a government cell dedicated to recording underwater sound activity off the village. And this has been going on for a while. But I don't see what they're trying to find. They appear to be studying something at the bottom of the sea that is moving at precise coordinates. On April 17th, 1991, they recorded a signal which they define as organic. The signal was recorded on a cassette to be sent urgently to the DGSE because this would jeopardize the military security of the country. But one of the lighthouse maintenance staff apparently stole the tape. They quickly managed to identify him and where he lives. Wait, this is my house. Now that the town's current is better, I can access the house's attic again. Wow, a projector. I thought I would forget its existence with my school years. What is it doing down here? I almost never set foot in here. There's gotta be anything. Looks like some of Pierre's homemade music for me. I thought it was lost since the moving in. I love that music. My lava lamp. I love it. Pierre probably hid it here, out of reach. Can't believe he'd think it's just a passing trend. Poor guy never understood anything about home decor. Let's put on some music. Honey, I finally finished my restoration project for this arcade machine. And I've got a challenge for you. I know you love a good one, so try to beat my best score. You will win something I'm sure will bring back good memories. I'm sure I know what it is. I could attach it to my gun. was in the attic with him when everybody disappeared. I remember wearing it, but we just had one.
Moi je t'aime. Tu m'as le style.
That? I can't believe all this was under the house. What was he doing here? Wait, isn't it exactly the same gem I have attached on my bracelet? Where did he find it? He was apparently willing to ship it to be analyzed? Let's shed some light on this.
If you're listening to this, you are probably the person sent by the office to continue my investigation. Well, at least I hope. My name is Matthew Banks, and I started this work about a year ago. As stated in my previous reports, I infiltrated the lighthouse last month, but they just found out that a tape was missing, and I think they're onto me now. But I used to borrow tapes during the night, but this time they noticed before I could bring them back. I didn't have time to use the new filtering machine, but I left the tape inside it. I hope it's safe there with you. Since I have to leave, I prepared the way for you, and I've regrouped all of my ongoing work onto 3 different boards, each including a guiding tape. The first one gathers my studies on the audio signal coming from the oceanic floor, which was the reason our interest was piqued by St. Exel in the first place. The second board will give you more details on the local cult, whose believers call themselves the Devoted. The third board is about Operation White Medusa, which is probably why you're here now. We are now definitely forced to recognize that the village of St. Exel is the center of great political and scientific interest, as we first suspected. I hate to leave like this, but I'm afraid my time has come. During the last 2 weeks, the lighthouse had trouble acquiring new information from ashore. Apparently, some kind of technology has been jamming their signal. Is there some kind of expert trying to hack the operation? I'll leave it to you to find out.
Passports? Money from different countries? This man was not your usual anybody. Oh, and there's also boat tickets to leave for Plymouth, England. He was planning on leaving, just wasn't sure when.
If you're listening to this, you are back. Studies on the
What is this folder? Your next objective. I'll study that during the night. A bit of reading always helps.
In 1977, an ultra-low frequency sound was picked up by scientists south of the Atlantic Ocean. But no one succeeded in identifying the structural composition of this acoustic phenomenon, and many theories were put forward. Spy submarine, human aeronautical activities on the surface, or even tests of explosives resonating through the abyss. The case remained closed for 2 years until a second sound was recorded 2,000 kilometers from Namibia. This time, the subject worried specialists. The position of the 2 recordings suggests the movement of something. In 1984, the sound was picked up again, several times around the Bermuda Triangle. Governments in many countries decided to classify all information about this issue as confidential, and the general public was kept away. While tracking other countries' progress, our secret services discovered in '86 that the French government was particularly interested in the matter, and that they put in motion a special program called Rorqual, a scientific project mainly dedicated to the understanding of unknown oceanic noises. We then decided in 1987, based on what we found in the village of St. Exel, and considering that this last signal was recorded off the coast of French Brittany, that it made perfect sense for me to start our investigation here. During my time, I discovered a platform for listening and monitoring seismic activities at the heart of the lighthouse. Only recently, and thanks to an information trading deal I made with the cult, I got myself recruited there as a maintenance agent. It allowed me to find that the lighthouse crew is, in fact, following the movement of an object which turns out to be a French military submarine. So was it only a submarine that we tracked from the beginning? But its movements are inconsistent. How did it produce this noise that we regularly pick up? I copied a lot of tapes and left them inside the hideout, but they're all still encrypted. I was hoping to get more information from it, but I spotted a car in front of the house tonight, and it's clearer than ever now that my time to leave has come. Infiltrating the cell in the heart of the lighthouse made me realize that the French government is very concerned about the development of the situation here in St. Exel. The development of the sect, as well as the growing anomalies observed in the population and nature, are monitored in a sustained manner. They came to realize that if they do not act, this situation will eventually draw the attention of the entire country to St. Exel. I had, in my hands, documents detailing an operation called White Medusa, the purpose of which was to methodically isolate and capture everybody in the village. Do they think that the people here are all sick or contaminated with something? Or do they mean to sweep this affair under the rug? They seem to foresee two possible scenarios for carrying out Operation White Medusa. As if by coincidence, there are incidentally two events which attract almost all the population in the same place. The village festival, which takes place during a whole weekend, or a fair, organized by the village school. I was able to reconstruct on the map the assaults considered in each of these possible scenarios. A large number of troops will be deployed, and they can easily prevent anyone from escaping by blocking the main accesses and roads. They will proceed using heavy trucks and toxic gas to control and direct the crowd toward them. The inhabitants of St. Exel have a Damocles sword over their head, but they don't know of its existence, nor when it will fall. In many areas, the life in St. Exel has deteriorated sharply in recent years. Local studies tend to show that nature has adopted an abnormal behavior. Some species started proliferating more than before, while others suffered the opposite effect. Some animals became aggressive towards humans, and some bird species completely migrated and left the region for good. We've also seen a lot of upheaval in the behavior of inhabitants of the village and their health. Ultimately, it led to many people leaving, which left only the ones who didn't have a choice. A real change is taking place, and no one seems to understand where it's coming from. Additionally, these extraordinary happenings have been rumored in the region, which isn't improving the situation. The village has become a place of attraction for people bathed in pseudosciences, esoteric and the occult, to say the least. They now see this place as a central home to their mythology. One movement eventually took over the others and established itself as the popular cult, the Devoted. They managed to obtain this importance by being omnipresent in their protests. They vandalized sites in large areas surrounding the village, which made the local press very keen on showcasing them, and ultimately helped a great deal in converting more people to their cause. According to my research, it is governed by a certain Aurora K. I couldn't find a lot of information regarding her, but managed to steal some pictures by following her after a public meeting with the population. She built her movement on the belief in the existence of an abysmal entity which would sow its harmful influence over the region and towards the inhabitants of St. Exel. To calm this underwater entity, they tirelessly seek the culprits for this curse. They unearth and send ashore on deteriorating ships coffins containing the bodies of people who have always lived here. If the boat returns and runs aground on the coast, the person and their family are pardoned. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like they've shifted into high gear by sending people who are still alive to sea. These are just rumors, and people who go missing may have simply decided to leave the area. They never communicated their plans with me regarding the future of their protest, and I'm not sure where they'll meet yet. My theory is that they'll probably regroup either near the White Manor or the local church.
study that during the night. A bit of reading always helps.
Easy Face.
Next time, you'll take the bus. Next time, you'll take the bus.
Easy Face. Dragonfly.
always know how to surprise me. His voice still echoes in my head. I need to know more. Let's find that antenna on the village beach. This tape recorder is helpful during late nights. Don't judge me, Pierre. It's my only way to hear a human voice now. I finished reading the documents Matthew Banks had left for his replacement, who never came. Matthew apparently needed to join the lighthouse maintenance team to gain access to the Rorqual cell. To achieve this, he was forced to make a deal. The sect could help him get hired quickly, but in exchange, Matthew would have to pass on the information obtained once there. He didn't know why the cult was interested in all this, but he needed them, so he agreed in order to continue his investigation. Matthew knew that the Rorqual cell used a specific radio frequency to communicate with the outside. Just before his departure, he discovered that the cell could no longer connect to this very frequency. The radio worked well, but the signal of this wave was scrambled, which prevented transmissions. It looked like sabotage, but who was behind it all? A member of the lighthouse team? Another spy? Only one thing was clear to him. If someone had wanted to disturb the signal, he would have gone through the big antenna of St. Exel. I have already spotted it in the past. It is on the quays towards the beach. I just have to go there. Long time no see, Boisseau's Park. Nothing. Park mausoleums were not spared by the cult either. They are a real scourge for this village. Completely locked. Ahead, the beach and Assumption Church. Right, viewpoint. I'm sure it's this giant blue rock under the house that must be responsible for our bubble that protects and keeps monsters away from our home. The crate of rocks came with a bunch of analysis. Let's take a walk, just you and me. This papers that... Probably had to be shipped with the set. I don't understand all this paperwork, but these rocks seem to have totally unexpected properties. I don't know if there is any connection between the monsters and this rock, and why it would have an effect on them and not me. I could not finish fixing this fence because the damn bird stole my van's key, where all my tools are. I've been trying to get them back, but it's nested high up, and I can't seem to attract it. If you manage to get my keys back, please call me at the number written on my truck. Mr. Levin. Amongst birds living in the park, you will find the Corvus picatrix. I know you little flying thief. They keep their precious loot inside their beak, which makes it really hard to get back. To prevent such situations, scarecrows were installed by local farmers.
Solve this puzzle and win a coin to use in George's workshop. The next, solve this puzzle and win a coin to use in George's workshop.
I don't think I can get used to it. That will teach you to look at me sideways. Birdie should feel free to leave its nest now. Now I need to attract it. Birdie, it's between you and me now. There. We told you steering was bad. Now, I only need to find the truck. Probably not an organized person. He left a client's tape inside his toolbox. Excellent.
Hello, Mr. Levant. I'm calling you because I have, again, a problem with the digital code that you installed last year. As I can't see very well at night, I asked you to make each key sound different. But for a few days when I entered the code you gave me, 2 keys no longer make noise. Listen! Could you contact me when you get my message? This is becoming a real problem for me.
Stay on the floor.
Solve this puzzle and win a coin to use in George's workshop. For each coin you can get, a prize awaits you near Nico the Robot in George's workshop.
No puzzle can resist me. energy is not sufficient. This needs an additional source of current. The energy is not sufficient. This needs an additional source of current. The energy is not sufficient. This needs an additional source of current. Only one destination for you? My bad. I feel that the wind turbine is going to need a little help from me to launch. Sweet! It was enough to start the turbine! I am the repairman in charge of fixing this gate. I've found a way to supply current to this unpredictable electrical panel. I've linked it to one of the small wind generators we have in the village. As long as there is wind, there will be current. Only issue is that while I was fixing it, one of those freaking birds stole the key from my van. If you find them, please bring them to my office. Mr. Levins. The beach. Here we go. I think I found the antenna. Nothing. Perfect. The keys were placed at the particularly intense fishing that supplied the region. Following the drop in activity, this fishing port was converted into a simple marina. It is always possible at low tide to find fishing traps with shellfish in them. You are the one I'm looking for. This gas pump is probably older than me. Afraid of no boat anymore, are you? No storm will be able to bring down such an antenna. Not too professionally closed, the way I like them. What happens if I remove this circuit breaker? So? You gotta be kidding me. There's no way in hell. turn into an ice block if I stay like that. I need to get warmer clothes at the house. Fast. A note from the local fishermen about seagulls. Obviously, they spent their time stealing the shellfish from traps. This could have an impact on future deliveries. There's a lot of other information that could be useful to me. I'll write that down. It's like we instantly changed the season, but not for the better. I really need to get back home. The door because of the snow. I've never seen St. Exo under this amount of snow. Find the positives, Elise. That's good. Okay, I'm not going to use this towel right away. I left my clothes in one of the cabinets in the hall. Completely locked. I miss listening to Pierre. He always used crazy effects on his guitar. Completely locked. I had you somewhere. like are inside the antenna. The cult was stealing them. They probably had tons of them. I'm sure it was what was blocking the submarine's communication. The sect seems to know more than what Matthew imagined. He thought the devotees met at the Assumption Church. I will try my luck there.
Tu m'avais manqué.
An anti-cult movement sticker. I'll speak out against you. This sect seems to have been terrorizing the people of St. Exel for too long. This bridge could do with a nudge. This trap doesn't look the same as the others. The stitches are finer. But this one's empty. How shellfish of me. From this side.
Welcome to one of the original creations from George Workshop. In my very own George Workshop to collect your prize. Well, if you can solve it. You'll figure this one out easily, I hope. You already rushing towards a solution which may not be correct. Welcome to one of the original creations from George Workshop. In my very own George Workshop to collect your prize. Well, if you can solve it. this one out easily, I hope. Welcome to one of the original creations from George's workshop. Let's meet in my very own George workshop to collect a prize. Well, if you can solve it. The next, good luck with this puzzle. It would be funny if this table said interesting things at times, wouldn't it? I hope behind all great puzzles lies an even greater mess. Let's meet in my very own George workshop to collect your prize. Well, if you can solve it. Yet so close. Nothing.
It's not working. It must be missing some part. You are in front of the ingenious Fisherman's Gate, former contribution of the artist George. The gate is now only used to close, at the press of a button, access to the walkway leading to the Assumption Church. This gate has the particularity of being self-powered, and only works during low tide. Warning, floating pontoon follows the movement of the tide. Wow, it's completely surreal to see the submarine here. Only one destination for you, my bag. I'm gonna need you. If ever the washing machine breaks down, I know where Pierre can do my laundry. Let's take a walk, just you and me. I saw this submarine on a board in my basement. It is the French submarine of the Roquefort service, which inspected the ocean floor off St. Exel. It arrived on this beach completely destroyed. Why? The submarine was tracking something. Did this thing attack it? Something else could be residing at the bottom of the sea? Another submarine?
Solve this puzzle and win a coin to use in George's workshop. forget the path that brings us back to the finish, to the beginning, to the start. Yes, to the start.
No puzzle can resist me. The tunnel collapsed on itself. U-turn. I'm gonna need you. Shrimp fishing guide. A fisherman must have forgotten that here. Some of these tips could be useful. I might need you. I'm gonna need you. You can still see a cog was removed here. Another mission for Elise the Fixer. My path is just behind this gate. I need to get this thing working again. behind this gate. I need to get this thing working again. It's working. The church is close now. Tree cycle. Elise, if you don't understand what's in front of you, it probably means you were facing modern art. I don't see much. Let's walk with caution. So you're Nico the robot. You don't seem super friendly for something made to amuse kids. Still, he and the museum look shut down for now. 1990. Inauguration of George's Museum in the company of St. Exil's mayor. Always up to new challenges, the museum is located to attract people to an isolated part of the village. Facing the power supply issues of St. Exil, George electrically autonomized his museum. George seems to have a particular skill for turning anything into art.
Super, moi je t'aime.
They didn't forget to leave their little gifts everywhere.
Residents of Saint-Exil, I observe you, and I see great suffering in you. You are deeply sad, and yet you persist in not wanting to acknowledge it. The situation here has been deteriorating for years, and no one has come up with solutions to your problems. No one wants to face it, but our village is sick at heart. Here and there, some think that a curse has befallen our lands. Well, these people were right. Saint-Exil is not just a village. This place has a soul. If you've lived here long enough, you've definitely felt it shining through its walls, trees, and cobblestones. At least you could feel it. Something has changed, and it has for too long. A dark and silent poison proliferates in the veins formed by our alleys and ends up washing up at the foot of our doors, contaminating us a little more each day. Saint-Exil is not just a village, and its creation is no accident. The ancients never doubted it. Someone, or rather something, greater than us, decided to gather us here a long time ago. He made us build this village and protected our ancestors in exchange for his benevolence. Some of us honor him for that. It is the same entity which today has decided to call you to order and punish you. Unlike you, I never doubted its existence and its great power. It chose me to guide you, like a shepherd bathed in the light of his wisdom. Join us so that this nightmare finally ends. From now on, you are aware and cannot go back. If you don't bend to his will, you'll end up paying for it. Only one possible solution is offered to you. Obey.
Can't break that with my bare hands. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. You are on one of the highest points of St. Exil. The Assumption Church was built against the edge of this cliff. This panorama has become an emblematic place for those who like to observe the flora and wildlife of the region. Wow, I finally got there. St. Exil Church. Let's find what this church has in store for me. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Well, they made sure to enjoy today. That's one elaborate sundial. Despite its look, I'm sure people can still use it. But I have a watch. It's all open from this side. This smell of dust and candles. No doubt I'm on the right track. This setup looks recent. They probably did it just before the attack on the village. Okay, have some courage, Elise. Transept. Completely locked. Shit. What are they doing here? I'm not sure I really want to know. Tomb of Father Roald, abbot who watched over the population of St. Exel. He dedicated his life to the village and the population. He distinguished himself in particular by his taste for religious, spiritual, and cultural texts. The large library of the Assumption Church is in his image. Cemetery. It has been condemned by the sect. The Angel and the Newborn, unknown artist. This statue is incredible. I am gonna need a key for this one.
The time has come, my friends. Everything has been revealed to me. I understand why the most basic things, like having babies, have been taken from us. Our divinity, that required so much sacrifice, is still not content. The village kids have had it easy for too long. They need to share our burden. It talks to me and asks to surrender them to its will. Generations have forgotten how this village was built. It is time for a history lesson. We place statues to display each person we sent to see. In their anonymity, they remind us of the road still to be endured. But be reassured, my devotees, this road is coming to an end. I found a way to communicate with our protector. It has chosen me as its vessel and talked to me so many times. I will finally be able to answer. A few of us were meeting secretly in preparation for our next and last action. It will all be revealed to you tonight after the festivities. Do not enter the crypt yet. I have the answers you have all been looking for. I will remove this poison from our lives.
The annual High Mass is still maintained for the day after the Feast of the Village. Like previous years, we are expecting many of you. The sect had chosen the right place and the right time to strike a blow. The De Vigneault Mausoleum. They played an important part in the development of St. Exel. This family was in charge of the local agriculture. They ultimately defended the village by burning their own crops. The flower house was once their home, but it is now owned by the town. Tomb of the Dureau family who contributed greatly to the creation of the port of St. Exel. The fishing activity was so important that the family built their house at the end of the quays. They thus were the first informed of the contents of the merchants' cargoes in St. Exel. An envied position. This staging was prepared while the population was at the festivities. The population of St. Exel being already fragile. I dare to imagine the trauma of people if they had been exposed to this. This door can be unlocked from the other side. It must have taken a lot of time to set up all this staging. A lot of struggling souls probably joined the devotees over time. interesting. This book traces the entire history of the church and the creation of this cross. I'll take it with me for my bedtime reading. This church seems to hide a lot of secrets from me. The Assumption Memorial Cross. It was created in honor of the people who participated in the prosperity of St. Exel. Looking more closely at the cross, one has the impression that some parts can be interlocked on the sides. Bulletin from the city of St. Exel. The structure has been weakened and water can infiltrate the wall. The town will start the repairs soon so they can avoid a collapse before winter. Doesn't look like they had time. There are no bad moments to officialize a bond. Excellent. I could move faster with such a bike, but with these ghosts on the road, I really wouldn't be discreet. It has been condemned by the sect. St. Exel also has its little jokers who come to tag everything they find. We both knew you couldn't resist me. It's locked up tight. I could attach this laser to my gun, see if that makes me more precise. I don't have anything on me to enhance my gun.
Voilà.
Certainly not done with the place. Pierre? This is going to sound ridiculous, but I needed to talk to you, so here I am. I know it's not a phone, and you're not on the other side, but I make do with what I have. The evenings are long without you, and I miss our discussions. I'm locked up because of the monsters, so I have to find something to take care of. You'll never believe me, but I've discovered a new passion, making bullets for my pistol. It has become my comforting little evening ritual. And then I read newspapers or documents that I found. I try by all means to discover information that would allow me to understand what is happening here. When I can't sleep, I sort my tapes and listen to your songs again. This is by far my favorite time of the day. Well, it's already very late, and I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Sweet dreams. It was really soporific, but I managed to finish the book found in the church. There's a lot of information about this place and the village in general. It's sad, but it wasn't such a bad evening in comparison. If we go back many centuries, St. Exil experienced a much more sumptuous period. Originally, this village was only a small fishing hamlet by the sea, but it was located on the only road between two larger villages on the coast. It is with the cooperation of 4 great figures that the village developed and experienced its greatest activity. The Venios, who ensured the agricultural activity of the village. The Derault family, who were dedicated to fishing activities. The Duc de Bliard, who ensured the defense of the village with his soldiers. And finally, the Abbot Royaux, in charge of the spirituality through its church. Thanks to the progress brought by this collaboration, St. Exil had been able to develop for 100 years. But, sadly, during the following centuries, the village did not know the destiny that we imagined, and this prosperity turned into a distant memory. In remembrance of this period, which still resonates until today, these personalities were honored with the presence of a tomb that are located in the narthex and in the transept of the church. They also built a cross at the end of the Assumption Church that is a receptacle for 4 plates, each illustrating one of the families. Once a year, these plaques are gathered and placed on the cross to allow the inhabitants of St. Exil to have a moment of commemoration for its history and its ancestors. While I was crossing the church to reach the altar, I noticed light coming from an inaccessible room located just below. It's probably a kind of forbidden crypt, but then why would there be light inside? Considering the police are looking for cult members, this would be a perfect place for them to regroup in total secrecy. There's a procedure to follow to unlock the crypt's access, but it's going to be complicated. The door lock is linked to a mechanism inside the memorial cross. If I place 4 commemorative plates, the cross will unlock the door automatically. Well, supposedly at least. Right now, only one of the 4 plates is inserted on this cross, the one honoring the Duc de Bliard. The others are scattered in various places in St. Exil. I have to go to the church to learn a little more about the other plates. They seem to be commemorating specific families whose tombs are inside the church itself. My investigation is turning into a treasure hunt. How great. Last note. Based on the documents, the key that unlocks most of the doors in the church is hidden at the heart of the cross, and I can already access it. Since I deactivated the jammer on the keys of St. Exil, the fountains react sort of like portals, allowing me to see the village under the snow, as if I was switching over several months later and rediscovering everything in another season. When I approach Rocky from the fountain, the water gradually begins to light up. If the pebble comes into contact, everything changes immediately. I can literally change the weather in St. Exil on command. I read somewhere that the fountains were built a very long time ago, and that their source is the same groundwater deep under the village. That doesn't explain to me why it does that, but I prefer to warn you. Do you think there would be the same type of rock under the village directly? The only downside to all this is that triggering the storm using the rock doesn't work if it's snowing. And, well, it's super cold, too. Did I ever tell you about the sea columns? It's the only thing I like about this hell. If you could see them, you would love them, too. These are huge columns of water that start from the sea and rise slowly towards the sky, to infinity. They exude a feeling of quiet strength, serene power. They carry with them rocks, which gravitate alongside them throughout their ascent. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel almost calm looking at them. Still, I don't think we should be fooled by their placid appearance. Inside, thunder and flashes rage silently, reminding us that they are inhabited by a formidable energy. Moreover, they also emit strange and deaf noises, like an animal cry or a complaint. Anyway, I'm not the only one to be fascinated by this show. Birds and seagulls are attracted to these columns and flock to their base by the hundreds. They fly around for hours, as if waiting for something. I'm always afraid they'll get caught, but the columns are gentle giants. One thing is certain. I will continue to admire them from the cliffs. I have to go to this crypt. I feel that I am close to my goal. you. Come on, Elise. I remember this place. That's where we first met, isn't it? I can't believe you made a song about it, Pierre. Nothing in the veins but Chardonnay. I have no idea where I am, but this place is incredible. This is exactly where Pierre gave me one of his concerts. I would love to relive this moment again. I'm going to need something to break those. This door can be unlocked from the other side. I like you. You like me. We should hang. I have already seen this kind of setup. No way they could have been there before. Planks removed. This should weaken this son of a brick. We both knew you couldn't resist me. Let's try to push it now. Now the system should be unlocked. I can't open this. This door needs electricity. I remember this moment in my living room. We were both watching a documentary on TV when we discovered St. Exel. We only dreamed of one thing, to live by the sea and change our lives. Completely locked. am a living experiment on sugar. We both knew you couldn't resist me. Planks removed. This should weaken this son of a brick. This key will allow me to explore the church a little more. I've seen the same kind of lock around. Organ and bell tower. Have access to this damn bell tower, so the craftsman installed a system for me to block the door. Since I'm the only one who knows about music, you'll all have to go through me. Well, I'm going to need to learn the organ to continue upstairs. If I'm good enough, I'll make a duet with Pierre. This door seems locked by a complex mechanism.
Welcome to one of the original creations from George's workshop. Let's meet in my very own George's workshop to collect your prize. Well, if you can solve this.
never betrayed by our steeds. I only took a few riding lessons when I was little, but from memory, you can't trust these beasts. So I'm going to have to disagree. Tomb of the Duke de Bliard. He was in charge of defending St. Exil's agricultural and maritime activities. The White Manor is one of the vestiges of this family, who still live in the region. An ingenious system initially developed for its moats made it possible to send water to different parts of the village. Vegetable garden and scriptorium. The ornithologist observed the behavior of the birds in contact with these weird rocks. Exponential growth experiment. Do not touch with your hands. Can induce dreamlike experiences. Note for the ornithologist experimenting in our vegetable garden. We are happy to lend you a corner of the garden, but please do not occupy the rest of the space. Your birds seem to go completely crazy inside their cages. I've taken it upon myself to release them. A lot of activity probably took place here in the past, but it quickly became dismal once the monks had left. It must have taken a hell of a lot of wood to heat this building. I wonder if they spent more time chopping wood or reading. Woodcutter monks. Abbot Herald commemorative plate. Let's find you a place back on that cross. Vegetable garden and scriptorium. Cloister. During the night from Saturday to Sunday, the the property of the presbytery was degraded by the people claiming to be devotees. Given the amount of the damage, the town of St. Exil made the flower house available to its owners as a courtesy residence. They probably wanted to intimidate him, or to keep him quiet. Hello, Francois. I heard the cult vandalized your property. You have my full support in this ordeal. Glad the storage room is useful to someone here. Leave your things there as long as necessary. P.S. Regarding the flower house garden door, the mayor gave me the handle they used to unlock it. I left it here. It won't open from this side. I remember our move to St. Exil. Nature was stunning and the smell of the sea gave me crazy energy. Everything seemed simpler then. Pierre absolutely insisted on bringing all his musical belongings to St. Exil. I remember it made me crazy. But he knew how to buy me with a few songs. Isn't that my house door? Well, at least a piece of it. It feels like a weird dream where all the memories are crashing incoherently in your head. During our travels, we often underestimate the impact of the seasons on the mood of our faithful companions. Keep it in a sunny and temperate climate, and it will guide you on the right path. Plunge him in the snow and the cold, and to shorten his sufferings, his heart will betray you. Elise, we're going to have to make a choice. And if that's not too much to ask, the good one. Okay, we took the right path. could question myself whether or not to make a decision, but that would just add one more on my plate. Too easy. Completely locked. I hope the content of this tape is as cute as it looks.
Mommy, I like it when you play hide and seek with me. So I'm going to hide the key you are looking for somewhere nearby. And this time,
Another of these stacked four-legged beasts. I'm going to develop a phobia of horses.
and I'm sure you will never find it. Close your eyes and count to 30 up against a tree. This floating beast don't look so stable. Okay, I am going to hide it there. You can open your eyes now.
out, Pierre. Where? Okay, that one is on me. Our TV is too old to have one. I'll get up and change the channel. Don't move. Nothing beats the warmth of a fireplace. Our big house in St. Exel is so much harder to heat than our little city apartment. What other cleaning products give you a radiant whiteness like La Chienne Nature? Somebody's gotta clean these plates, and it sure ain't me. I don't have enough of this ammo. We both knew you couldn't resist me.
Ne m'oublie pas.
A little perfection for the road. All right.
You'll figure this one out easily, I hope. For each coin you can get, a prize awaits you near Nico the Robot in George's workshop.
I'm done with you. Excellent. The flower house once belonged to the Vinio family, which played a leading role in local agriculture. The basement illustrating the former activities of the family can be visited during Heritage Days. An ingenious controllable water supply system of the White Manor made it possible to supply the property if necessary. I don't have enough of this ammo. swear, officer, it's not a break-in. The back door was open. Someone left a tape. Journaling is not just for grown-ups.
Dad, science we are moving again. The electrician came to change the old digit code in the basement. Because you weren't there, he asked me for a code, and I want to play a game. You never play with me, so now you will have to find the answer all by yourself. It's the 4-digit code. The first is the hour on the living room clock, the one you never replaced the batteries for. Then I put the minute. And then I put the number of boot sales in the house. Have fun!
Ran out of battery a long time ago. Makes this whole house seem stuck in time. I would like to be very small and climb in it. Yar! I like the colors of this boat. I have never seen a ship like this. The door is blocked by the snow. Plate is right there, just in front of me. If the water level was higher, I could probably pass through. should be unlocked from the other side. That situation sits better with me. I can still picture the fishermen landing their daily catch of crabs and fish. Both knew you couldn't resist me.
Behind all great puzzles lies an even greater man. You solve this puzzle and win a coin to use in George's workshop. Let's meet my very own George's workshop to collect your prize. Well, if you can solve this.
I'm done with you. You are near one of the entrances to the White Manor. This path is directly connected to its water system. The Duc de Bliard built its various accesses to defend St. Axel from potential assault. Ultimately never used. Over time, it ended up a piece of decoration. In front of you is the moat system devised by the Duc de Bliard. This system has undergone some modernization over time. Through a rather elaborate logic, the moat can direct its water to supply the Assumption Church, the Flower House, and even the Darrow property at the edge of the Keys. Even if this system has some electrical assistance to facilitate its use, the operation of the system remains fairly basic. Nothing. The wheel won't budge in this weather. Very common in the area. I wonder if it's good. Completely locked.
Oof. Yes.
It was complicated, but we always knew you would end up in my hands. It was complicated, but we always knew you would end up in my hands.
Tu m'avais manqué. Not this again. These cabinets were in the lighthouse, too. They record signals coming from the sea. What were you trying to listen to? I
recognize this computer. It's in the lighthouse, too. Enter coordinates. What coordinates? What are you doing here? Is that a message for them? Are they using these antennas? I had almost forgotten that dream. I don't have enough of this ammo. Let's take a walk. Just you and me. Completely locked. We all have these experiences at least once. You come across a restaurant. Outwardly, it seems unpretentious and quite shabby, but the cuisine is in fact exceptional. Well, this restaurant wasn't one of them. The food there was atrocious. They left a message. For me? I'm going to be curious.
Ollie, it's me. I did something stupid. Again.
I am gonna need a key for this one.
I dropped the key to the restaurant in the gutter in front of the post office, and I can't get it back. I know you have a lot of work with the ending exhibition, but as soon as it's over, can you open to Artisan with the double? I don't understand why so many people are attracted by a stupid secretary that unlocks with the help of light. Our superb cooking skills should be enough for them. In any case, before they start their work, don't forget to store our most important items in this secretary. We'll just have to remember to put them away before reopening the exhibition. And most importantly, don't forget to put inside what the Doro gave us to access their garden. Sorry to be your super mega burden. Love ya.
Double bad luck for you. The other manhole is open. I'm going to push that plank. I have to wait a bit for the gym to recharge. Ingeniosity is the key.
Ne m'oublie pas.
Now that I have the key, I will finally find out what is hiding behind this restaurant. These docks look different. This side must be less frequented by tourists. The sect has already been there. They were really harassing people wherever they were. This door can be unlocked from the other side. Let's take a walk, just you and me. This is a sea organ. It turns waves into music. That's poetic.
Welcome to one of the original creations from George Ruction. You give solve this puzzle and win a coin to use in George Ruction. You know it as well as I. The devil hides in the detail. The solution of this puzzle too.
of St. Exel. Following on the storm warning, fishermen's lockers need to be emptied earlier this year. Please get your number plates back on the board and revert your locker's codes to their initial values. P.S. In case you forgot, the initial code is your number plate number. I don't have enough of this ammo. Let me get this straight. 2 of the lockers were not emptied, so I need to find 2 boat number plates out there. With a bit of luck, the fishermen didn't change the code. Damn, I can't use the door. Daily menu: mackerel in white wine or mussels marinara. Fisherman's menu: salmon tartare and grilled sea bream. Sounds better than it tastes. Making all the noise upstairs. Why is this furniture moving by itself? Am I going crazy? This secretary has a full moonstone connected to its lock mechanism. This piece of furniture is only unlocked when it is hit by daylight, keeping your precious possessions safe from thieves at night. Damn you, George. I can feel the humidity on this floor. It's no longer watertight. Explains the closure for renovation of the restaurant. Luckily, some light seeps through these boards, so I can see something. Has touched the secretary. It's probably unlocked now. Dero's house key. That's a big one. Probably a gate or something nearby. When the new owner bought the restaurant from the famous craftsman George, they decided to keep the moonstone furniture from his personal collection. This stone is very sensitive to light, and shines brightly when exposed to daylight. Locked up tight.
Bogaz.
An anti-cult movement sticker. I'll speak out against you. This sect seems to have been terrorizing the people of St. Exel for too long. Behind, Boisseau's Park. Left, Assumption's Church. Ahead, Restaurant Panier à Crab. This is the boat I was looking for. Completely locked. The mechanism seems to be stuck because of the low temperatures. I can't push it. Back in the city, I knew a few trendies that would kill for this perfectly normal item. I know that Heritage Day is coming up soon, but I won't be there to open my garden. The manager of the Panier à Crab restaurant, who is a friend, has a duplicate of the key. He must surely keep the key safe there. I'll let you see that with him. Regards. The artificial canal in front of you finds its source at the White Manor. The fresh water that came in abundantly made it easier to clean fishing products, as the winter cold can freeze the water and cause this canal to burst. The city built a system to control how much water arrives here at the White Manor. I like you like me, we should hang. There's a cross at the church waiting for you. The keys were built by the DeRoe family. Their house can be found at the end of them. To facilitate the management of water from the White Manor, a path leading to it has also been developed. This boat has a number plate. No use for you now. I don't have enough of this ammo. All right. All right.
Te revoilà.
Nice. I will be able to fire more bullets with this new magazine.
seul ami.
You'll figure this one out easily, I hope.
I'm done with you. So you're Nico the robot. You don't seem super friendly for something made to amuse kids. Still, he and the museum look shut down for now. Let's try to push it now. Now the system should be unlocked. George, with the momentary storm, your windmill system went into safety mode and stopped. I wanted to reactivate it, but I couldn't put my hand back on the lever. In the meantime, the museum will remain in the dark. So you're Nico the robot. You don't seem super friendly for something made to amuse kids. Still, he and the museum look shut down for now. So, the wind turbines providing him with power stopped working. I wonder where they are. Way more welcoming. Special event, Nico the Robot. Don't be afraid of the future. 7 puzzles scattered throughout St. Exil, and therefore 7 tokens to be won. Small and big prizes for the most curious. That's tempting. There's even a cake.
Welcome to my very own Jaws workshop. With the participation of the municipality of Saint-Exil, we are organizing a great treasure hunt for youngs and less youngs. 7 of my famous puzzle tables are hidden at different locations in the village. If you succeed in solving one, you will win a token. Don't share the answer with the others. The first to get all the village tokens will have an incredible prize. Nico the robot is there to receive your tokens and reward you accordingly for each piece. Don't forget, there is only one rule to complete my trademarked Jaws table. Put the magnetic ball through the metal hoop. Good luck, and I hope to see you all very soon with Nico the robot. Not suitable for children under 4 years old. Play with moderation.
Moi je t'aime.
This is where I have to put the tokens. I want a piece of paper with a joke. Do you know who burned the Sistine Chapel years ago? Michelangelo. I swear to God.
Mais attends, mais qu'est-ce que tu fais là-haut?
À quoi? Je vais te sortir mes chips,
Mais t'as déjà goûté leur goût naturel inimitable?
Bah, non, je vais tester, oh. Oh, mais tu as raison, y a pas besoin de sauce. Nous, on n'a pas besoin de sauce, parce qu'on craque nos chips sauce.
Chips sauce? La chips, naturellement.
was a joke. What's the worst that can happen when your job is to tie sausages together? Not being able to make ends meet. I've collected all the possible prizes from No-No. He couldn't resist me. Hiding from me. The desecrations of tombs and vaults. Everything was true. Badges and clothing stolen from Lacren. The devotees planned to strike a blow and take control of the lighthouse. At the same exact moment, people discovered their sordid staging in the church.
If you are here with me tonight, it's because it has chosen you too, my most devoted. We have been preparing for months. The direction of our destiny will finally shift. We've done everything the Protector wanted us to do. We offered it the bodies of all those who wronged it. Each family, through generations, has repaid its debts. Their children's turn has come. Tomorrow, and that's a promise, we will finally be able to get in touch with it. Many people will stand in our way, but their efforts will be in vain. Once the village feast is over, when people will discover our messages in the church, we will infiltrate the lighthouse and take over the basement. We know that the Roc Alcel has equipment to send a message, and we will use it to contact our divinity. Patrick, you will block the front door of the lighthouse so that no one can get out. Ellen, you will help me in the basement. As for the others, you will take care of sending our new offerings. The information that you stole from the ornithologist at the top of the bell tower was decisive. He thought he understood the world by observing the air, without knowing that the truth was hiding at the bottom of our sea. These observations and the offerings we made from the beaches of Saint-Exil allowed me to know where the entity was waiting for us to contact it. Doubt may cross your mind this last night, but be reassured. All our spiritual pains are also our chances of redeeming ourselves. We have reached the point of no return. Tomorrow is our big day. Rest and meet me near the lighthouse at 11 a.m.
I understand why the town stopped ordering these. You know what? I will help myself. Generously. This music sheet must be important if she hid it here. It must allow access to information that she kept preciously for herself. Yes, to complete such maps, she most likely found a high vantage point. They still had some gas in the tank. They were not ready to stop anytime soon.
T'es mast.
The atmosphere is incredible. That bell is gigantic, but this one won't bring chocolate eggs for Easter anymore. This ornithologist had the courage to go upstairs every time? Either you're committed, or you aren't. I really hope to find answers to my questions. No doubt, there was an ornithologist here. There are most likely no better places to study birds and nature. This chair is completely torn up. You spent a lot of time here, didn't you? Compilation of observations on nature and animals. This document is heavy. He's been compiling information for months and months. It will take me some time to study it. Please bring me some answers. I'm so tired. He also left me some kind of nautical maps. That's the sea depth of the village's surroundings. Pages seem to have been torn out of these documents. She must have found a place to send the signal and kept it to herself. I will probably be able to sort through the tapes the spy stole and find out if the lighthouse had any luck recording this thing underwater. With these maps, it will give me the right spot to send that signal. But I need to read through this all first.
Bogaz.
I like this new grip. A better hold means faster reloads. This is very weird. This is very weird, Pierre. I found some ultra-bright and colorful sphere in this village. When I approach it, I start feeling like I'm being transported to a totally surreal world, a blinding world, rather calm, in which the water can go up the waterfalls, like these columns of water. Have you seen them too? Compared to the daily grind, it's a rather pleasant world to sink in. It feels quite cold, though. In this dreamlike environment, I walk through Greek and Roman vestige, just like those we saw on our trips before moving to the coast. I have the feeling of being constantly exposed to things that we experienced in the past. It allows me to cling into many memories of our arrival in St. Exel, and all the events that took place before I was left alone here. Strangely, I have the feeling that time no longer passes when I find myself in this alternate world. Am I imagining this? Am I starting to daydream? Am I totally crazy, Pierre? It all started 6 years ago. At the time, I was still a student, and I spent the little free time I had at the bar with my group of friends. In fact, we always went to the same one. We were happy there. What we particularly liked were the concerts organized by the small amateur groups that came by from time to time. Nothing very extraordinary in itself, but the atmosphere they created was magical and went wonderfully with our little evenings based on the cheapest beers we could find. After all, we were still students. And then, there was this group. They had been coming for several days, and their music kind of hypnotized me. The type of rock that you don't forget, and that I haven't forgotten. I must admit that the guitarist had something to do with it. His name was Pierre. There were always these moments after the concerts when the members of the group hung out a bit at the bar, but I didn't dare approach him, and I think he didn't either. The more it went, the more our eyes met, sought each other. I felt that something was happening. One evening, when the effects of the alcohol were strong, I no longer hesitated. I went to see him. From an outside perspective, it was probably embarrassing. At least I would have been. But that didn't seem to bother him. We talked for hours, but it seemed like it was over in an instant. I could see he was shy, and when we left the bar, I grabbed his arm and kissed him. We shouldn't have parted on a misunderstanding. I love this story. Our story. But that doesn't explain why we chose St. Exel to fully live our lives together, does it? At that time, Pierre and I were in our last year of college. We had already been able to take full advantage of the city and its agitation, and even if the years we spent there were fantastic, we really needed a change of scenery. A return to a calmer setting. Yep, that's what we needed. And it was when we were watching a report on a seaside region that we had to click. The landscapes were simply sublime. I always remembered what Pierre said to me at that time. Honey, okay, let's move. We just had time to finish our studies and put some money aside when an advertisement for a house for rent in St. Exel caught our eye. This song? Pierre had written a song about all that. It was a new beginning. We no longer had a penny in our pocket, but real hope in our eyes. Nobody knew us here. We were really starting from zero. We could have completely changed our ways of being if we had wanted. We had found the house that seemed perfect. At least perfect for us. It was a large building made entirely of wood and stones from the region, and which proudly faced the sea. We had so much space. We were finally able to breathe. And then there was a fireplace that gave such a warm atmosphere. It gave me a quiet yet powerful feeling of serenity since the first day. Well, up until what is happening at the moment. Although, we must admit that it deserves a little refurbishment. Or at least a little wiping. The paint has suffered the effects of salt and time, and the holy windows let the wind pass through the whole house. You can hardly see it, but we threw all our last savings into this hole. Anyway, Pierre was only thinking of one thing. Take as much space as possible to store his instruments. Whether it's the bedrooms, the living room, or even the attic. Today, the garden is in a sad state. It looks like a dump. I used a lot of things that were lying around for tinkering or training. I feel good in this garden, especially right now. It's the only place I know I can be safe. None of these things are going to attack me here. With all the boxes we had, the laziness quickly caught up with us. This explains this feeling of permanent mess or perpetual moving. Life in boxes. Maybe we didn't really dare to open them all. Maybe it was too heavy after all these kilometers between us and people we love. It reminded us of too many things. It reminds me even more today. The documents I found at the top of the bell tower are incredible. It's clear now that the whole cult thing is based on the observations of a very talented ornithologist. This person knew a lot about nature and how to monitor changes happening throughout the region. He made precise observations regarding birds' behavior, and apparently, the tide changed its rhythm. It became unregular and seems to get further and further from its synchronicity with the moon. He also mentioned the fountain's water. Apparently it comes from a very deep source under the ground. He believes the water touches these blue rocks that are responsible for what's happening here. His theory is that something made these rocks resurface because of a mining process happening under the sea. He installed something to stop the water in case it was dangerous for the population, but the snow probably broke it, and that's why it's back. I also found different maps regarding the sea depth at large of St. Exel. He was particularly interested by 3 wide cavities. I took the maps with me, but they are drawn on transparent material. I will need the projector in the basement to display them. Based on his observations, I believe he predicted the location of the water columns? Feels like he knew already that these columns would be there. Or maybe it's just the fact that the birds were attracted by that very spot early on. He had everything under his eyes. But the cult took everything and put it to bad use. And what for? Sending a message to a divinity with the lighthouse equipment? Maybe I could use that equipment too and send a signal to finally know what's hidden down there. If I use the encrypted tape the spy left to spot where the submarine has been in the ornithologist map's region, maybe I can pinpoint a location where to send the signal to? I need to check these tapes and see what I can find. I need to find the right coordinates. Decrypting tapes could help me track this underwater thing. Let's listen to what the Rorqual cell recorded at the coordinates found by the ornithologist. I'm sure it's just a big fish. Gotcha. One location down. A fisherman? Not really interesting.
Roger! Sur le port aujourd'hui, c'était vraiment la meilleure des idées. Tu pars 4 points, mon pote. J'ai attrapé un macro.
It's fast at 85 joules minus 1 day. Getting closer to the residual reflection located above the layer.
Found you, damn submarine.
At this point of the perimeter. Awaiting confirmation before diving below 350 meters. Transmission 823, 75th day in immersion. The laser is finally operational following the repairs. We sent the first pulse burst at 85 joules minus 1 day. We are getting closer to the residual reflection located above the layer of the whales, the deepest point of the perimeter. Awaiting confirmation before diving below 350 meters. Transmission 823, 75th day in immersion.
Dolphins! But that doesn't help me much.
Roger! Tu vas pas voir tes yeux! Te laisser au port aujourd'hui, c'est vraiment la meilleure des idées. Tu portes la poisse, mon pote. J'ai attrapé un macro de 8 kilos. J'en reviens pas. Dès que je rentre, on le met sur le barbecue. Roger! Tu vas pas voir tes yeux! Te laisser au port aujourd'hui, c'est vraiment la meilleure des idées. Tu portes la poisse.
Okay, so you were there too.
The radiation level is back below the threshold value, but a value below the 400-meter mark still does not seem recognizable.
3 coordinates validated. That should help me pinpoint the location. Let's use these maps on the projector now. I have all the points now. Let's try to make one of these maps fit. I have all the points now. Let's try to make one of these maps fit. That's it! The first coordinate is when they approached the area and detected something with their instruments. Then, they circled around the ghost ship and sent out a probe which never returned. The last recording was when they decided to go deeper. And something went very wrong. Poor bastards. Let's send a signal over there and see what's under the sea. To the lighthouse. So, I have to send a signal to something? To someplace unknown? Doesn't sound too scientific, Elise. Let's hope I don't end up like a submarine. Am I just doing the same shit the cult did? It's the exact time of the attack. Did I fix it? They're all back? Here! never be the same again. And I couldn't bear this alone anymore.